one to bless me. Whenever I sneeze, let there be cuckoos like a dove. But first of all, please, let there be love. Let there be cuckoos like a dove. But first of all, please, but most of all, please, yes, most of all, please, let there be love. Let there be cuckoos like a dove. But first of all, please, let there be love. 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 I know your life on earth was troubled, and only you could know the pain. You weren't afraid to face the devil. You were no stranger to the rain. Go rest high on that mountain. Son, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven shouting love for the Father and the Son. How we cried the day you left us. Gathered round your grave to grieve. Wish I could see the angels' faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. gather round your grave to grieve. Wish I could see the angel faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. To go as high on that mountain, son, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven shouting, love for the Father and the Son. Love for the Father and the Son. You called me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. I said, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. I hope you are, and you got us feeling all right. Now John at the bar, he's a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free, and he's quick with a joke, and he'll light up your smoke. But there's some place that he'd rather be. He said, John, I believe this is killing me. As a smile ran away from his face. Oh, I know I could be a big movie star if I could get out of this place. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got got us feeling alright. Well, I've cut a verse out. It's a pretty good crowd because I'm so cold. For a Sunday, we're so cold, and truth be told, this is the first and it's the last song we're going to be singing this evening.
That's quite good.
Yeah, of course it's quite good. See, I'm a comedian. That's what I do. That's how I earn the living. That's how I supported you all these years. What do you think? By the way, what have you done to your hair?
I'm wearing my hat to keep me warm.
Yeah, but Sue, stop it. It's not a good look. And the manager, in as cold a way as she is, she gives me a smile.
It's not that it's cold.
It's just that it's freezing.
It is.
We've been without a boiler now. The amount of money we've saved. We're going on holiday, I think, with the money we've saved. No, we haven't going on holiday.
We'll explain it all in a minute. Let me finish the song.
It's me. Definitely.
Definitely you.
They've been coming to see, to forget about life. Goodness, what a life it is. For a while. Oh, and the piano, it sounds like a carnival. And the microphone, it smells like a beer. And they sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? La, la, la. Now, listen, can I just say, she's now brushing her hair. The long locks.
You're
now,
just jealous.
I love the way
you're just jealous because you're going to take your hat off and it's not going to make any difference.
No, it does make a difference.
All.
I have to put it back in place. La 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 la. Now, if you're there, sing along with us. Come on now. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right. That was a cold, freezing thing, that one. I'm just going to remove this now because I can't work.
Look, his hair's all ruffled.
Ruffled. Gloves.
Listen,
fingerless gloves.
Everyone, don't worry about us. We're fine.
We're fine. As long as we just run around every now and again, just take it in turns. Take it in turns in front of the one electric bar.
So just to explain, lovely people, yes, we had a boiler issue last week. It was the pump they discovered. But when they replaced the pump, they realised that there was another problem that had caused the pump to break. And he couldn't get to the bottom of that. So we are still without
I think
heat.
It's now 3.5 weeks, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. Good Friday, I think we lost it, wasn't it? Good Friday, something like that.
It's been so long now.
But it's been all right.
No, but what's good about it is it's meant I've got the axe out.
What could possibly go wrong?
No, I got the axe out, and now, we're going to have to get a new floor because I burnt all the floorboards. That's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Upstairs and downstairs. We're
working through the furniture.
Working through the furniture. I chopped up an old bench out in the garden, and that's all gone. And a huge amount of screws and bolts in the fire grate because I didn't manage to chop them.
You are so pathetic.
So what's left in the bottom? You see, it's a bit like when it says when you burn what's left. What is left?
We'll taste
what's left in your life.
And in yours, it's all the bolts and screws.
It's all the bolts and screws. So that was quite funny, and so we got rid of that. And then a good friend Al, who is away. I think he's away today, and I think
he's away in a caravan by choice.
But he may even by choice. I know. It was 3 degrees the other night. It was so cold in this house. Our garden is north facing, right? So that means our house is north facing.
Yeah, it's It's a cold house, which in the summer is lovely actually because it's very cool and everyone comes round because it's a very cool, calm house. But actually, it is a bit chilly. And our bedroom at the back of the house is so cold.
My goodness!
It's got 3 open.
When the engineer came to look at it, and he went, oh my goodness! It's so cold in here. It's so cold in here.
Can I just say, Poppy said the same. I went in there with Poppy the other day. She said, Nana, this bedroom is really cold.
Yeah, so there you go.
So there we are.
So
we've moved into the spare room.
We've gone back into the bedroom that we had about 22 years ago. And we think we'll probably stay there for a bit. So
it's quite nice. It's warmer in there.
We're going round the 16
we've got an open fire.
bedrooms.
Fine. Jonathan hasn't set fire to us yet. There is still time.
Although there's still time. The smell in the house is generally of smoke. And and to add to that, I think actually we just want to say, those of you who saw the video, we don't live in a mansion. Just somebody said to me the other day, Al said, he showed me a property that he manages, and he said, I think people think you live in this, and it was a marble.
It was massive.
Massive, 15-bedroom mansion with cars. The space underneath the house was big enough to take something like 15 cars. So I thought, actually, yes, that's the kind of house we live in Guildford. Right.
Absolutely.
So actually, whatever the house is, it's blinking freezing. And I just want to thank George Rogers in particular, George and Bonnie.
Yes, they've been kind.
Who they offered us a boiler. Sadly, our engineer wouldn't fit that anyway. They can only fit the ones that they purchased. They can't guarantee anything.
But he says it's not the boiler.
He said it's not the boiler. Well, that could be.
It could still be. But
anyway, can we get on with the show, please?
They think that it's a blockage in the pipe somewhere, but he's got to find the blockage.
Yeah,
which
but
means he's got to find the
no,
pipe.
wait. Nobody cares.
I do.
All right?
I think they do.
Just
they're
let them
our
be.
friends. They care.
Let them
Carry
be.
on.
And the reason
Sing.
I'm going to sing now a number of songs because it's just going to be us and a special guest tonight will be a dear friend from the community who has a particular level of expertise in an area that I think we want to look at tonight. A couple of areas we want to look at tonight and talk about, chat about. The kind of thing that JV from the Life in the Steinway Room does. We kind of just, if something is burning in our hearts, we want to talk about them. And actually, what I could do is really seriously is a little bit of Summertime, couldn't you?
Go for
it.
I just think, song.
Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, and your mom is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. You're gonna spread your wings, and you'll take to the sky until that morning. There ain't nothing to harm you. With your daddy and mommy standing by.
Phew, that was impressive. You're just trying to warm the voice up now, are you?
It wasn't bad, was it?
That was fantastic.
For an old geezer.
For an old man, it was.
Especially when you heard me sing earlier.
You were just warming up. You were
Just warming up. Just warming up. Now, I'm going to sing this song, and I meant to do it last week. And I like singing it because now I just fiddled around on the piano, and I like fiddling around on the piano. And sometimes I just come in here. The other day, I just came in and fiddled, and Sue said, "I like it when you fiddle and on the piano," and I think actually on the piano. And all right. And so next door is we've got another piano. It's basically a house full of piano. Let's be honest. I've got 4 pianos in total, 2 acoustics, and Sue's going, She said, when we move, when we downsize, what are you going to get rid of? I said, none. We're going to get rid of furniture more than we're going to get rid of pianos. No, you can't go from 4 to 1.
I think you can.
No, you can't.
I think you can.
No, you can't. And so let's just, there's this song, and it says, I've had friends, but they've slipped away. That's true. I've had fame, but it doesn't stay. That's absolutely true for me as well. I've made fortunes, spent them fast enough. Never made fortunes, but we've made money, but not for long. And as for women, it says, they don't last with just one man. But in this song, we've just changed it because she's lasted 40 years with this one man.
Long years.
And this is just a wonderful song that Ray Charles and Elton and Billy Joel, Billy wrote it, and Ray came and did a duet with him. And it's sad I can't do it as a duet, but it talks about pianos, and it talks about, and I think I've said this before in this community. Mm-hmm. When I travelled around the world, the first thing I would try and do is find a practice room, because I knew that there wasn't going to be much to do of a day. Once you've done your rehearsals, then it's weeks waiting for performances at night. And I would just want to go and rehearse, just play around, just do jazz, bit of relaxation, and learn the next opera, whatever I was going to do. So Baby Grand was what I always used to play. Well, I used to find a room and ask for one, and because I was a reasonable star, they used to say, yeah, it's over there. And they gave me a key or something like that at that time. Now, because they give me nothing, I don't think they're giving the caretaker's key to get into the toilet. It meant a lot, and this song is just a little bit about the way that pianos helped me to change my life, I suppose, because when I was a child, I was just, pianos are what I was my default. You
gravitate towards a piano, don't you?
Well, I do, because I did when I was young, when Ian, my teacher, who was singing this week, my music teacher at school, and he gave me the key to his room. And those of you who read my book, he had a piano in his room. And as a result, I was able to go and be in that room instead of getting a lot of violence perpetrated on me, which I had, kickings every day for years, and I was terrified to be outside. So the piano was my way out. So it was a kind of like a playground, and I would just try and mess around.
I think I've told you all that when we lived in our first home in London, we had a piano in the spare room. And it also housed the freezer and a cot and a table and everything else. And I used to send Jonathan up to get the frozen peas, but he could never just go and get the frozen peas from the freezer. He would always have to play something on the piano as he walked back.
Usually the entertainer.
Yes.
Remember that?
I should not have
press,
said that.
you thought, no more!
No more, no, please
Anyway,
don't.
here we go.
Please
Here
don't.
goes.
Go for it.
Here we go.
This is for Gareth. This is for Gareth.
Late at night, when it's dark and cold, I reach out for someone to hold. When I'm blue and I'm lonely, she comes through. She's the only one who can. My baby grand is all I need. In my time, I've wandered everywhere around this world. She would always be there any day, any hour. All it takes is the power in my hands. This baby grand's been good to me. I've had friends, but they slipped away. I've had fame, but it doesn't stay. I've made fortunes, spent them fast enough. As for women, well, my woman, she just lasts with just one man. But baby grand will stand by me. They say no one's gonna play this on the radio. They said melancholy blues were dead and gone, but only songs like these and played in minor keys keep those memories holding on. I've come far from the life I've strayed in, and I've got scars from those dives I've played in. Now I'm home and I'm weary in my bones. Every dreary one night stand, but baby grand came home with me. Ever since this gig began, my baby grand's been good to me. Little one, I think you know this one. Way back when. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. 'Twas grace, how precious did that grace, that grace appear. The hour I first believed. This one speaks to so many of us this time over the past 2 years. Through many dangers, toils and snares, we have already come. 'Tis grace has brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When weeping there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first began. When we first
I wanted to dedicate that in particular to Pete and Christine Windmill. You've been working on Count Everyone In for the last 5 years. I think it's your 5th anniversary
Fantastic.
today.
And they watch this show all the time. I know
you're just
they're right
amazing, and it's just a lovely way of just proving God's grace is amazing in the work that you actually do. So well done, guys. Happy birthday.
And we support the work that you do.
We do.
In so many ways. Inclusion is just part of this
There's been a few suggestions about what we could burn. to keep us warm.
Okay.
Not the Steinway, you'll be pleased to know.
Right.
But one of the pianos was the suggestion. And Victoria
It's a
Moy...
Bechstein. What are you talking about?
Well, one of the others.
You can't burn a digital piano.
Oh, well.
Okay.
But could you burn a banjo? Or a banjo?
You can. Banjo. Now, okay, just a little question out there as well. Is it banjo or is it banjo?
It's a banjo.
What do you mean? You say banjo?
Well, that's because that's the way you say it.
Banjo.
But you wouldn't understand it if I said
Billy
it.
Joel. All right, can you not see that?
Or a ukulele.
It's the garden mower. You know, what are you talking
In
about?
the caravan.
In a caravan. That will be David Bray as well.
Anyway, moving on.
Sorry, that was to spot the deliberate mistake there.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to play a little thing. You're fiddling around on the piano, as I do. I just suddenly thought, I just fancied messing around
I can't
with this.
leave
And I
alone with the piano at all because
can't,
this is what happens.
Look, I have no idea what's going to happen here, and I literally don't. I had an idea, and I thought, and I genuinely don't like this song. So I'm starting from the standpoint.
That's a good selling point.
It's a selling good.
That's a really,
so
really
I'm going to now
sell it, JV. Really well done. Really
so
well done.
I never have liked the song, but it always made me laugh. And
go for it. Just play it.
And this one I play for Nick, who on the theme of fire, who was on last week. It's amazing he survived until he's 28.
Well, I'm amazed that he didn't ever go to accidents and emergency.
He was
so accident.
Well, he was a bit of a fire freak. He was a bit of a pyromaniac. And so one morning, he was about 14 or 15.
Something like that.
I thought 15. But the other two children would have been the other two children would never have offered to be in the garden or do anything in the garden apart from play cricket. But Nick came one morning and Sue had cooked me, I can remember it, two eggs, bacon, sausage and some bread. And it was a Saturday morning, a rare Saturday morning I had in.
Saturday morning treat.
Right? Saturday morning treat. And he said to me, there was some stuff up in the thing to burn. So I said, yeah, okay, all right, you go and do it. But I've put the stuff at the bottom of the incinerator. All you need to do is light the thing at the bottom and it will just smoke gently.
Just keep an eye on it.
And then you step back you know what to do. Yes, he said, absolutely, Dad. Dad, trust me. Now, those two words are words that now I do not believe are true. Trust me. So I left him to go with a box of matches and off he went. And, of course, a child's idea of a fire is that it goes, you light it and it goes whoosh, like that. Up comes the fire. But in these incinerator dustbins, that's not what happens. So he lights the fire and then I'm halfway. I think I've eaten one egg, 2 bits of bacon and half a sausage.
Something like that.
I'm just about drinking some coffee. I don't want to get too detailed, but I think there was anyway, I think I'd eaten 4 or 5 beans. I don't care about them really, but I'm just telling you just giving you the flavour of the breakfast. You don't care. So I'm eating this, and then suddenly he comes through the back door, and I haven't looked out in the garden, and he went, Dad, I think there might be a little bit of a problem. And I said, so what are you talking about? He said, the garden's on fire. I said, what? And I looked up in the garden, and this is no word of a lie, it literally was ablaze, because what he'd done...
Bless him.
No, not bless him. No, this is the problem. You went, oh, bless him.
I didn't at the time.
He took the petrol can for my lawnmower, all right, which was from the shed just at the top of the garden, and the fire was not that far from this. And he'd gone, it wasn't starting quickly enough for him. So he sprinkled, he thought, well, I'll just give it a... So he threw petrol on it from a distance. And, of course, anybody who knows anything about fire, the fire went from the bottom and then went straight, and it shot over his head, singed the hair on it on the top of his head, and took all the hairs off his arms, all right? Amazingly, he didn't get petrol on himself. But then what he did was he threw down the can in shock and then started kicking it around the garden. The problem with that, of course, it lit everywhere that he kicked. And the further he kicked towards where the garden machinery was. And I was thinking that, and closer to the fence.
So there were little puddles of flaming...
And trees.
Petrol, basically.
I thanked Dave across the road because I just... Of course, we got the hose and...
No, he just quickly grabbed a wet towel and just...
Well, no, darling, of course it burnt for a good hour.
It did.
Because it's petrol. And but afterwards, I don't think he went near... I don't think he lit a match for around about 15 years after that. Anyway, but this one is called, and the song, I'm not going to sing it, I'm going to play it. So I'm going to do little variations on this one. Okay, and this one, and it's just a bit of a kind of classical kind of pop mix, you know. More reflectively.
Bravo! It was fantastic.
It was terrible.
Awfully loud. You should have heard the volume in here. It's incredible. This is quite a small room, and that was a big sound from the big
I'm
piano.
sorry about that. You were sitting there going, ah! Like that. She was. No, it's just. I'm sorry, guys. It was just a bit of a Mickey
It was
take.
great. No, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
How could you? Sorry, and I need to know. Write in now and tell me why you enjoyed it, because I mean, I just put it's a lot of chords and arpeggios, broken chords, and a few chromatics, all that kind of stuff, and a little bit of show off, all that kind of stuff, and you put them all together, and what you've got is that, I suppose.
They loved it.
It wasn't exactly
Absolutely
reflective, was
They
it?
were dancing. Chloe said she was dancing to the music.
That's really worrying,
That's
Chloe.
great. No.
I will survive. Anyway, right. Why don't we
Hello.
do? There's a song. I want to talk about something first.
Oh.
And I think this is. We're not going to get through all the songs, but we've a couple
a nice
of things that have come up this week that I think I want to address with Sue. Really. We've been talking about we were sitting up in bed because the bed is the only warmest place. I mean, we were there the other day. We didn't have anything to do. And we stayed in the bed, I'm not joking, till 11:30 because we just thought, well, I don't talking about this and that and the other. And, just going, and actually looking at the political state and the state of where we are as a nation. And I thought, actually, people say, oh, don't be political. I am political. That is. Life is political. But more, this is past party political. This is not one side or the other. No, this is about human beings. This is about human behaviour and the way that, in particular, and I'm going to say this, men treat and make assumptions about women. And I have had enough. I saw the news the other day, and I thought, I've got to hold my hands up and say, I was brought up in an old-fashioned kind of way, I suppose. Women were subjugated, were by theology, were kept down into the place where they were told they could not become and did not become anything more than people who provided the tea or whatever. They would teach the children in Sunday school, but generally in that tradition, that is how they understood it, and that's no judgment. It's just the way it was. And for so many, that place, that patriarchy, where men just tell women what they're going to do and then behave badly towards them. Now, it culminated for me. It's been brewing for years, and I have behaved badly, Sue. All right, and I have, my opinions and the things I felt that women, you make quiet jibes about women doing this and women doing that. And what you suddenly realise is that a man you're putting down 51% of the population, is subjugating them to your particular worldview. And I'm just saying, as a Christian person, but as a human being, okay, let's just deal with that. It's unacceptable for us men not to take responsibility. And it culminates in a whole set of things that I'm going to just ask Sue to talk about a little from a woman's perspective. And I just heard one thing, I'll just say this before Sue talks, which is that O'Brien on LBC, he said, men shouldn't really be taught, or something along the lines of, I don't feel able to talk about this. We have to, men have to own up and talk about it. Because we are the ones who are doing often.
Yes, some men.
Yes.
And I think
made.
This
That's
is
true.
We have had lots of conversations about this, and it's some men, a very small minority of men, treat women badly, make comments, feel that it's okay to do so. Some men, the problem that they bring is that they don't do anything to stop it. So they might see it happening. Yes. They might know that it's going on, but they don't feel able to intervene and to say anything or do anything. No. And so,
why do you think that is?
I think because fear of someone saying something. They think it's okay, and so a lot of women feel that they can't say anything because they're worried. If something's happening at work, for example, they don't feel they can say anything because if they do, it'll affect their work prospects. No. And so they don't feel able to say, look, this is happening. I'm not comfortable with it, or they don't want people saying, oh, it's the women's libbers again, that kind of thing. They feel they're making a fuss. So
did you experience that as a manager when you were?
Absolutely, lots of times. And so as a woman manager, I ran job centres. That's what I did for a few years, wasn't it? Quite a few years, yeah. And some people found that unusual, that a woman was running a job centre, and so there was a lot of assumptions.
Share one of your experiences, for example.
Quite often, someone would come into the office, and they would come into my office, and they'd say, "Could I speak to the manager, please?" And I would say, "Yes, absolutely. I'm the manager. How can I help you?" No, the real manager of the office, because I was a woman, and therefore they couldn't think that I was a manager. One of my jobs was to go to a local hotel and to advise usually men, leaving the services on how they could find work. And it took me a long time to become accepted to that group of people and taken seriously. And I may have been guilty my own part of not actually being very convincing or laying out my credentials to start with. So, I accept that. So I'm not saying it's everyone. I'm just saying it's a bit of a niggle, and a lot of women will agree with me, I'm sure, that it's a niggle at work very often. And I think often what I notice happens is that the way that the media report stuff is that they say a woman was attacked, a woman was raped, a woman was discharged from her job because of this, that and the other, when often it should be a man attacked a woman, a man raped a woman. Because otherwise, if you say, sorry, this is me on my English hobby horse as well, if you say a woman was raped, then who did the raping? You don't know. It's not an emphasis. It's an emphasis on the woman, not on the man. Yeah. So then it becomes the woman's fault. What does the woman have to do about it? So my bee in my bonnet is, let's be a little bit more proactive in helping and supporting women. If you see something going on, then do something about it. If you can help people in church by giving them a bit more of a voice, then do so.
There was the figures. We copied and pasted some figures.
Well, actually, there was a really nice quote from the WHO Director General, who said, "Unlike COVID-19, violence against women cannot be stopped with a vaccine. We can only fight it with deep-rooted and sustained efforts by governments, communities and individuals to change harmful attitudes, improve access to opportunities and services for women and girls, and foster healthy and mutually respectful relationships." I really like that. Yeah, I think it's a great quote.
And it's to do with I think, when women are advised, the Sarah Everard's case, if you remember the policeman who stopped and abducted and then killed her.
The really shameful thing was that, and this really stems out of my chair, it really did.
Who said it?
Or whoever said it, they were basically urging the women again to do something more active in, well, if someone approaches you and says they're a policeman, ask them to prove that they're a policeman, or call someone nearby,
or run for a bus. What was it? What was the quote? Was there? It was there. You copied and pasted it.
The Metropolitan Police has sparked a fierce backlash for disgraceful advice, urging women who fear a male police officer might not be genuine to ring 999, or shout out to a passerby, run into a house, or wave a bus down for help. Well, most of the time,
how are you going to do that in the middle of the night?
You're not going to fear a policeman or police officer because you believe them to be genuine. Yeah. So again, it's not down to women. Anyway,
I think actually that this is really important for the men in this community, that when we see things, I would ask you to challenge yourself, as I'm challenging myself now, as you would do as we become very good at calling out racism when we see it, or whatever. You say, look, this is not acceptable, and you call it out where you see it. Don't start a fight, that's not necessary, but you simply say in your workplace or where you are, just challenge the attitudes, because it's important. It's important for my grandchildren, my 2 girls. I've had 3 boys, okay? And so, my 2 grandchildren, it's important that they grow up in a different world.
Actually, for me, it was important that the boys had a good attitude towards women as they were growing up. And if I hear them say something that is not respectful of women, or it is degrading, or they joke about things and it just goes, over the top a little bit, then I become upset, because actually I don't want that attitude going out in society. So for me, it was important that we raised young men who were fine, upstanding young men, and treated everyone well, and they do, I believe.
They do. And they much feel that, because you we both did, I think, engendered a sense of respect, mutual respect for whichever gender, and always this thing about consent and all of that always being the case, and not making sideways swipes. There's this thing called a sense of humour, and actually all of us must, when you joke about me being a man and I joke about you being a woman, that's not,
we're allowed to have fun with it.
We're allowed to have fun with it.
Can I just share the story that really hit home to me this week? I was listening to a radio discussion about this, and some of you may have heard this. And a young woman, I don't know how young she was, but anyway, she wrote in and she phoned in and said that she was a pastry chef, a head pastry chef in a restaurant. And the head chef was becoming a little bit too friendly, and she didn't want him to be doing what he was doing, and so she asked him politely not to, and he ignored her, and he would come into her workspace and he would work a little bit too close, and he would get a bit too physical with her, until one day she could take it no more, and she pushed him. No, she didn't push him. She said, "I told you to stop doing that. Don't come so close." And he was so angry that he pushed her hard enough to make a hand-shaped bruise on her arm. So she obviously went to the owner of the restaurant and she said, "Look, this is what's happened." And they said, "Oh, that's terrible. Please don't take it further." So she said, "Well, he's assaulted me, basically. He's hurt me. You can see on my arm. Well, don't take it any further. Actually, why don't you, we will deal with it." So she said, "Well, don't give him a slap on the wrist. Please deal with it properly." Okay, they said. They gave him a week off work, basically. They suspended him for a week. What's really hard about this story is that the other people in the restaurant, in the other workers in the kitchen, were all male. And none of them did anything to step in to help her or to tell him to stop what he was doing or to support her when she went to the owner to talk about it. Over the week, because he'd been suspended, all they could do was complain about the fact that he was off, and that because she had complained about it, they were having to work extra hard. So it was her fault that they were having to work extra hard. Not that it was the man's fault, because he had attacked her and he'd responded in the angry way that he had said it. So the result was that, of course, he came back, made life very difficult for her. We all know the story because it happens time and time again. She left because she couldn't cope with it anymore. She couldn't get a reference because she knew that he wouldn't give her a good reference. And so she now does something different. I think that's a tragedy.
It's a tragedy.
That not just that the man felt it was okay to treat her like that, but actually the rest of the men didn't stand up for her.
Right, and so in communities, in your life, do it. Don't accept it. In churches, do not accept it. If church leaders are promoting that kind of attitude, challenge them. Challenge them right up to their face. Go and speak to them and just say, "This is unacceptable, and we're not going to foster that attitude within the church." But that's it. Anyway, listen.
I'm done.
Yeah,
That's me.
it was just because of the House of Commons, that kind of thing, and the whole thing about Angela Rayner, the abusive and terrible things that were said about her. And I think we as men need to stand up, and you as women need to not accept this, okay, and that in this community. I'm going to sing two songs. Rachel, can I, after I've done this Songbird song, I'm going to. Can you sing?
Lovely.
I Can't Run Away, and I haven't sung this one for. For you, there'll be no crying. For you, the sun will be shining, 'cause I feel that when I'm with you, it's alright. I know it's alright. I would give the world to you. I'll never be cold, 'cause I feel that when I'm with you, it's alright. I know it's right. And the songbirds keep singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you like never before. And the songbirds keep singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you like never before. Like never before. Like never before. Like never before. Thanks, Rachel. She's going to play this one. Can't Run Away. It's from an album. This is Throwback Sunday. And I sung this way back in when was it? 22 years ago. No. Yeah. Have you got that? Is it up? Is it? Right. Okay. And somebody asked for this.
They did. I can't remember who it was that asked for this. No, I can't remember who it was. It's a lovely song. It's based on Psalm 139. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your right hand will guide me.
I can ride on the wings of the morning. I can fly to the ends of the sea. I can hide in the sands of forever, but you will keep following me. I can laugh from my ivory tower, making plans for how great I shall be. I can sleep in my dreams of the future. Even there, you'll be following me. I can't run away, I can't hide away, I can't find a way from you. You have the words of life. See me and know my heart. Help me to stay and live closer to you. I could fall to the land of the dying, but your love won't be bound to pursue. I could hide until darkness surrounds me, but the night could not hide me from you. I can't run away, I can't hide away, I can't find a way from you. You have the words of life. See me and know my heart. Help me to stay and live closer to you. On the wings of the morning, I can fly to the ends of the sea. I can hide in the sands of forever, but you will keep following me. can't run away, I can't hide away, I can't find a way from you. You have the words of life, see me and know my heart, help me to stay and live closer to you. I can't run away, I can't hide away, I can't find a way from you. You have the words of life, see me and know my heart, help me to stay and live closer to you. Closer to you. And now just a quick reminder of the community that you belong to. When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, nothing, oh nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend.
You just served me the smallest cup of coffee. Right? Be grateful.
I can full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow. Keep your head together now and call my name out loud. Soon I'll be knocking at your door. Oh, you just call out my name. summer or fall. All you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend, oh darling. You got a friend, my sweet darling. You got a friend, oh honey. You got a friend, oh darling. Look at all you lovely people there.
A lovely lot.
Singing and singing and singing, and it was so lovely. And we've got another video for you. Don't forget, if you want to go on the JV on YouTube, you can see the song, the Graham Kendrick song,
Adore.
Adore, where you are once again, the JV choir is on there. Just to say, we've been quite astounded by the stories that have been coming through. Thank you. And I encourage you all to write in, men and women, with your own stories, and stories of encouragement too, things that where attitudes have changed and where you confronted it. But please keep writing in. If you want to write, if they're too private and you want to private message me or Sue, please do so. We won't necessarily respond, but just tell us. We'll try and respond at some point, okay? But just please share those stories and try and make a difference where you are. A man who's been making a huge difference for so many years now is a man who has gone through so much in his own life. We've had him on many times, and Fiona and Colin Richard are up in Scotland and live not far away from Rob's church.
No, John's church.
Sorry, John's church.
Rob, you got a church now.
We've got wrong church. John Dick's church, and they are very much in contact. Colin's been a real kind of involved in CAP, either employed by them at one point and then now. What's the title, please, Sue? What is his title?
Well, he's going to come up on the screen in a minute, and his title's going to be absolutely.
Oh, it's going to be quite clear.
Yes,
Okay.
It's going to be
and
quite
so
clear.
During this time, what we wanted to do,
there he is.
particularly,
There he is. He's a member of the CAP National Speaker Team.
Right. Hello, Colin.
Hello, John.
How are you?
Hello, Sue. I'm good. As you probably heard last week, I was in hospital and I had a week out. But hey, back on the horse.
Hey, you're an extraordinary man. I mean, you've had blood cancer. You've got so much stuff going on in your life, and yet you have this extraordinary bent towards helping others and being useful to others in really very expert ways and ways that have helped so many people through. So you wanted to say something.
So yes, I was going to say you had a very unpleasant experience with lots of ulcers in your mouth and so on. So eating was a real problem. So what you've done this weekend
is you've done nothing but eat.
You've gone to help at the Scripture Union camp with your wife and provide food for 70 young people. So
Indeed.
Extremes there.
And I understood that you gave them chicken and beans. It's a terrible menu. I don't know what you're thinking of, Fiona.
Jonathan,
What?
My wife, it's virtually cordon bleu stuff. I tell you, Mr. Chef meets Scripture Union mass volume. It's raved about. It's only come for the we lure them in with Fiona's cooking
with the food,
preach them the gospel.
It's unbelievable. Poor kids. These poor kids. They become Christians just for the food. I love that.
Food. Yeah, it worked for Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that, Colin. And
Don't go around with a basket and collect it all out though, and then distribute.
oh yeah,
it
that's
again.
right. Actually, you
Don't
make a
do
good
that.
point.
We always take enough to feed them, and seconds and thirds. So.
Well, actually, it's very true, isn't it? When you actually think back to a lot of what we read is about Jesus eating. I'm coming to your house for tea. Zacchaeus was a very little man. That one. And they're constantly eating. They go in, they eat, they wash feet, and then in the Last Supper, it's a constant thing where food is used as a way of communicating and chatting and being social and talking about things that matter.
Yeah, the story of the Pharisee where Jesus was invited by the Pharisees and he called them out and he said, "You've only invited me here, and you've only invited your network of social network here because of what you can all do for each other, and actually who you should have invited were the people who can't invite you back. They're the people you should have invited." And a comparison of conditional and unconditional love, and that was all focused around a meal. Yeah.
Well, it is, and do you know what, Colin and Fee, because you're listening to this, you have an opportunity to show us that extraordinary hospitality when we come up there. I don't expect sausages and beans from you.
Oh,
okay?
No. No, we'll be down Tesco's, whatever they got on the yellow label.
Yeah, yellow label. It's yellow label JV and Sue. That's what we're talking about. Now, let's get down to this. Why I wanted you on, Colin, and your expertise. You've been such a help. And as you know, we run YGAF, and you have been consulting with Adrian and the team, with the trustees, on how best to help people before we hit this major cost of living increase and inflation heading towards double figures. I don't think it's quite at double figures, but it's close, and I suspect in the next quarter it will be. And so I really, having fielded quite a lot of it this week and helped a few people through YGAF and personally, and we're seeing more and more people at their beam end. What's the experience? What's your experience? Because this has been your world, and you are still involved in it to a certain degree. So tell us what's going on out there.
Well, the sense we get coming back from the various debt centres, certainly, I mean, I'm based in Scotland, so I'm hearing the chatter, if you like, from the Scottish centres, but also, we connected across our whole network. And what we're hearing is that there are people, the demand for the centres is beginning to grow. And it's growing at a rate which at the moment is manageable. Most of the centres can get to clients who have got to that situation. But I think what's particularly noticeable this time is normally people will wait 2 or 3 years and struggle for 2 or 3 years potentially with debt. And we're talking about historical debt, which is also created, is eating the income, whatever that is, whether that's through benefits or through a wage. That struggle has normally lasted about 2 to 3 years before people ultimately get to the point where they reach out for help. And we always say to people, come with those issues. The earlier you come, the better, because the earlier we can help, the earlier we can intervene, the better. But what we're seeing is people who have hit that crisis point quicker, because they're seeing particularly the energy increase.
Yeah,
that one we're starting to notice, and many of our clients are on prepaid meters, and it's slightly different. If you're on a meter where you're paying it by direct debit, or if you're paying on a bill, what we call a dry meter, where you're paying in a traditional way, you use it, and then the electricity company bill you for it, the energy company bill you for it. Then in some respects, people are in a position where they've used the energy, and then the debt builds up for the energy that they've used, and they're trying to rob Peter to pay Paul to kind of handle that situation. And that's where the crisis point eventually comes, the tipping point. The difference with many people who are on prepaid meters, where the energy price has shot up, you haven't got the cash in your bank to go and put on the meter card, then be able to put it in the meter. Then your electricity stops once, or your gas stops once your clock winds down.
Can we just stop? Put a pause there, just 1 second. And I just want people out there who don't have this issue. We don't have this issue. No. We're paid, and it's the most unfair situation.
It's so shocking, isn't it?
It's so shocking that people who are prepaid pay more. Those who have less pay more for the privilege of having energy, but because those who have more pay effectively less. It just is stunning. I can't get over this injustice.
The argument always used to be was because of the old days, and to some degree now, you've got the whole mechanism of the card being issued, the meter with the card going in, or the coins used to be going in, of course, in the old days, and someone had to go round, and you've got the top-up cost of what you have to pay, I don't know, the local newsagent, and you've got all those elements in. And that was the argument that was used by the energy industry to say, well, you know, it's quite administratively heavy to actually provide the bill payment in this process. But the reality of it is with new technology, basically once you've got the account number, there are many of the energy companies now, you basically go on a website, you type in your account number and a postcode, you type in the amount you want to top up, and you click a button. And in some ways, for the energy companies, that transaction is running through a website which costs buttons to run. It's far cheaper than issuing a bill and paying postage. And they get their money immediately before the energy is used. So that argument
doesn't hold.
Does it hold? I can't see that it can hold anymore when the transaction cost is now so low. And yes, there are still people that prefer to have the card and the meter and the key or whatever. But quite frankly, the technology is there where people can do it on an iPhone, or in some cases we've had with some of the energy companies, if the client gives us their account number and their postcode, we can just go in, type in their account number, type in the postcode, it confirms the address, and we will then put in the amount and give them a top up that way. So the cost of the energy company of processing that transaction, it's virtually zip, and they get the money ahead of
because that's right. We consume it and we pay for it after we've consumed it, sometime after we've consumed it,
and it automatically updates the meter. Job done. Where's the extra cost?
Okay, so let me stop you there again in saying that I think people should make note of these. Those who are competent to contact their MP, their local MP, I think this is something that must be addressed. That you can do practically. You can talk to your MP, put pressure on them, to raise the issue in the House of Commons, because this has to change. Because I can't see, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Colin, but in the long term, this is going to lead to massive and irreparable debt. It's just not payable. It won't be payable, not with the lot they're talking about.
Well, if you're on a prepaid meter, because you have the choice, because you don't have a choice, and there's a big issue with what's called self-disconnect. Yes. So the energy companies will turn around and say, well, we're not disconnecting people. Well, they're not. They're not disconnecting, but people just don't have money to put on the card to reconnect themselves. Now, having said that, the energy companies, there is varying best practice across the industry between various companies. Some are exceptionally good, some are not so. But they will, if a client rings and says, you know, this is my dire situation, etc. But all that's doing is really kicking a can down the street, because an energy company very often will say, well, look, I'll put on an emergency credit of £20 or whatever it might be. But all that does is put on £20 debt. So next time you top up your meter, next time you walk down the road, next time you get your benefit paid or whatever, your wage comes in, you can pop down the road, you put £30 on your card, you put it in the meter, 20 goes, and you've got 10 left.
Unbelievable.
So all you've done is kind of kick the can down the street. The problem is we have a cost of living crisis which is beginning to hit, and then you add on to that the debt issue. Now, if you're on a prepaid meter, you don't have a choice. If I want the lights to be on, if I want to have hot water, if I want to have heating, I've got to top up the card. So if it's a choice between saying, I won't go to Sainsbury's to buy the week shopping, I need to top up the card, then I'll top up the card. And that's where we're seeing the hit starting to come in.
Yes,
The
yes.
food banks. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we're seeing, we've got our son's in-laws, they're running food banks over in North London and have done for many times, and noticed something like, I cannot remember, something like a 67% increase in use and in desperation.
Yeah.
I think this is very difficult for those of us, and I really ask people to try and look past your own experience and look into other people's experience. I think that it looks to me, and I may be wrong here, but in the future, when we've got, of course, October coming as well, which will be the next hike, this will devastate, I would guesstimate, something like 1 to 2 million people.
And people, I mean, it's frightening, the numbers. The numbers are
it is.
Yeah.
So Sue.
We have a few people on the community who are already writing in saying that they are on cards, they can't get off because they're tenants. And so, our beloved friends are in this situation and having to sort of, as they're saying, switch off the heating. We've been joking about the fact that our heating's broken. Yeah. But these people are having to switch the heating off because they want to save money.
You can, even if you're a tenant, you can, or you should be able to switch you should be able to switch away from a prepaid meter to a dry meter. Even as a tenant, you should be able to do that.
Right.
Is that the law? Is that?
I don't know whether it's the law, but it's certainly in my experience. I've had a number of clients who said, I can't move because I'm a tenant. And the reality of it, you can move because you're a tenant. You can move.
So how do you do that? What do you do?
You need to contact your energy company and explain that you want to move from a prepaid meter to a dry meter. Now, one of the checks they will do is they will do a credit rating check against you, which is where the issues of debt then come in, because if you've got historical debt or debt that you've defaulted on, but you've got an arrangement in place to try and repay, then that equation starts, that aspect starts coming into the equation, because then the energy company would look at it and say, well, actually, are you somebody who's reliable to be able to pay the bills if we put you onto a dry meter, a direct debit arrangement, as it were. But having said that, I mean, at the moment, yes, the cap for the prepaid meter is high, is the highest. Below that, you've got the standard variable rate, which is pretty well the best deal almost you're going to get at the moment, and there's not an awful lot between them. So I mean, I've had a number of clients that will say to me, although I know I'm paying a bit more, the fact is I know that if I put money on the meter and it's in the machine, I know that money and that meter is there, and I can monitor it much more carefully than the fear of going on to a direct debit or a bill
and then spending too much.
And not being confident they've got enough money for when the bill does come in to pay for the electricity or gas used.
Let me ask. There's one question which is related to that directly. So let's imagine Bob's there and he has gone to a dry meter. He keeps himself warm. Okay, he's on his own. He keeps himself warm. It's a very particularly cold winter. And he doesn't use a lot of hot water, but he uses it, and then he gets himself into energy debt.
Yes.
What are you going to advise him to do, and what is CAP? Because I really want to move on to solutions, because I think this is something, I was watching a program the other day, Colin, and it just said, I listened to a program, and it was something that 72% of all respondents would not ask for help. It was on a phone-in, Ian Dale on LBC, and he said that most of them would not ask for help, even though they needed it, and it would take an awfully long time. Yeah. And I remember a figure. What are people going to do if they get into debt? How are they going to ask for help, and how are they going to get it without being thrown out or without having bailiffs turn up or whatever?
Right. Well, the important thing to do is, if you can see that it's heading that way, reach out for help as soon as possible. The minute you realize that you are having to make choices about which bills you pay. So it might be you're saying, right, well, I need, your key ones are things like your council tax, your rent, mortgage, whatever that may be, and your energy and your food. Those are your absolute sort of, top priority, what we would refer to as priority debts. The minute you realize that actually those numbers don't add up, that's the minute you need to reach out for help. I mean, even if you've missed 1 month of one of those bills, what I would say is reach out for help immediately, because sometimes people say, well, okay, next month I'll do this, or I'll tell you what, I'll take an advance on my salary. And there's various schemes that some of employees have come in with good intention, but actually created problems as well. Or people say, oh, I'll take a payday loan. Oh, do not go anywhere near a payday loan. Never.
Right. Could you say that again? Could you?
Never,
and in all the iterations.
Never go near a payday loan. Ever. Never, ever go near a payday loan company. If it's a choice between a payday loan company or swallowing your pride and ringing someone like CAP, Christians Against Poverty, you can Google us, Christians Against Poverty or CAP, Debt Help or Debt Charity. You'll find us on Google. Pick up the phone to get help, to get advice, because the minute you start going down those other routes, you just on a downward spiral. And the notion is, oh, well, I'll always sort it out tomorrow, or always something. But, next month, there'll be something else. Next month, maybe the month the washing machine falls apart, or next month the boiler blows up, or... but
you're speaking my language now, actually.
And you might need someone to come and mend it, because you may not be able to mend it yourself, like John.
No, all right, calm down.
No. But the minute you sit down and add up your numbers, and I always say to people, do the maths. They're really simple. People think it's complex. It's not. Basically, write down at the beginning of the month, how much money are you going to get in? And between now and your next payday, how much money's got to go out? It's as simple as that. So you've got your bills, your tax, your council tax, your gas, your electric. If you need to run a car, you've got petrol. You need to put money aside for MOT. All these various things. Do the sums. Now, if you're not comfortable or you've never been certain about how it seems a bit of a mystery about how these things work. CAP also runs a thing called CAP Money courses. So CAP Money, CAP Money. Again, it's part of the CAP services, the debt services. The idea of CAP Money is it teaches you how to manage and understand your money so that you control your money and not your money control you. And there are many churches right across the UK run the CAP Money course. And that will help you get a handle on understanding where your money goes out and where your money comes in, and the cash flow, how that all works, so that there are certain things that come through once a year. There may be annual things, there may be annual car tax, annual insurance, all of those things. How do you plan for that? So when that bill arrives in September, you've got the money built up, ready. You're not constantly fighting to make sure, and then suddenly that bill arrives and you think, oh my goodness, what have I got to sacrifice this month to make sure I can do that? So, and then you're borrowing money to pay that big bill. So it's all about understanding that money. So that is the first step. That's what CAP calls the fence at the top of the cliff, if you like. The ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. So if you find that you have got problems, you've got debt issues, and that could be historical credit cards, which at the time everything was fine, it all worked out great, but circumstances have changed, cost of living's gone up, energy's gone up,
you've lost your job,
your job, the inflation's running at 7+ and your pay rise was 2. These numbers, at some point there's going to become a tipping point. So reach out to CAP, and CAP isn't going to judge you. CAP's not going to go, oh, he's another, you'll never go. No, we don't. We want to make sure that people are able to live, not just exist, but to live. And part of the service is looking at, if you've got historical debt, which you're fighting to get get resolved, be that council tax, be that electricity, be that a credit card or whatever. Now in Scotland, we don't have bailiffs. There are different methods that
of recovery.
but we don't have bailiffs. In England, they do have bailiffs. Now the last thing you want, the most harrowing experience,
Yes.
could be that ultimately it gets to the point where the bailiffs come to your house, and you will get lots of letters and warnings and all that. If you stick your head in the sand and say, I can fix this, then there will become a tipping point. I always think of it, if you broke your leg, you wouldn't lie there with it in agony going, I can fix this. You go to the hospital, you'd reach out for help. You go to the hospital. If your finances are broken, do the same. Reach out for help. And you might think there's nothing anybody can do. You know, how can they do this? I've got to pay it back. Wrong, wrong, wrong. There is so many ways of the law being used to protect you and help you to make that journey through. And when people come to CAP, think of us as a brick wall between you and the people who are after your money.
That is a fantastic
become
picture.
the brick wall, and we are there to protect you from anything coming from your creditors. We talk to your creditors on your behalf. We explain your circumstances, whatever those circumstances are, and there's all sorts of reasons why these things can happen. We do all of that work for you. We have that long-established, credible relationship with our creditors that when we tell them things, they believe us. We have the ear of the government, we have the ear of the finance industry, we have the ear of the energy sector, the utility sector, the telecom sector. All of these people work with CAP, and we work with them. And it works.
You know, and it works. I think when you came on before, I got so excited about this, and because I knew that we'd made a contact with an organisation that I could believe in, and that other people have found really helpful. I know many people. I know Rob Barron out there really is a great advocate. I know a friend.
Michelle is saying that it's been helping her.
Michelle has been saying so. So actually, you basically, I'm asking you out there, all of you who are watching, who write in and say, I don't know what to do. If you don't wait until you're falling off the cliff. I love that picture. You don't want to get an ambulance. This is the fence at the top. Please, would you? Oh, tablets. No, I haven't. No, you can't. I think they're in the. I thought I had them, but I've forgotten them. Sorry. That's a good point. Could you go and get them for me, please? Just there's some in the cupboard under the stairs. Yeah, you know, that's where we keep them normally. And I think actually I just asked Colin, you've been so good. Thank you so much. You both are shattered, I know. And you've got a number of days when we're coming up there. You're preparing for that now. I know you're planning to be in hospital when I'm there. I know, having a break. I know that. So
I've got a parking space at the hospital now, so frequently.
Yeah, exactly. You've got a loyalty card, for goodness sake. Okay.
Greet me. Oh, Colin, you're welcome back.
Oh, hello, mate. How you doing up there? You know. Anyway, listen, Colin. It's such a thing having you on, and I'm so glad you're so passionate, so informative, so full of information that is, and this man you can trust. And I ask you genuinely and from my heart this week, because this has been a real burden for both of us today, over the last few days. We were able to help people, and other people have helped us. We know what it's like to be helped, okay? We've not always been in a position where we had any money or anything else. And we don't have a lot of money, but we have enough to live, and we're fortunate enough to do that. And we've got people that we can go to. I often say this, Colin, that, you know, we have friends who will help us, but so many people out there who are in this poverty trap that they don't have friends they can ask, they don't have anybody that will lend them the money. And they're caught in this trap where the banks won't give them the money, nobody will lend them the money, and so they go down towards loan sharks, etc.
Yeah,
so do not go there.
Don't go there.
Come and talk to us.
Reach out to your church. Reach out. Just reach out. Just look around. There are services there. Don't forget, people like Citizens Advice can help you with a review of benefits to make sure that you are on the appropriate benefit. If it's a case of you've been knocked back, they can help you with the appeal process. we've helped people with the appeal process, and it's not saying the DWP process is the people there are wrong or whatever.
Oh, no.
It's incredibly complex, and at times things just go wrong. And we've helped people with the appeal process, which is why the DWP have the appeal process. And on both occasions we won the appeals because we sat down, we went through it with the client, we were advocates for the client, we did that, and we presented the information to the tribunal, and they came back and said, and the DWP on one occasion came back and said, right, now we know the full facts, now we understand it all. And in fact, the guy concerned from the DWP even said to the chair of the tribunal, I just wish people would just pick up the phone and ask us and tell us. Right. And we won the tribunal, and we got the back payment for the client concerned, and it just revolutionized their whole situation. So don't think there isn't help out there. Don't struggle. Go to your food bank and ask them, do they have a CAP centre? Because if they don't, they will more than likely
somebody
know what it is. And if there isn't one in your local area and you ring CAP, CAP will redirect you to other debt services, one of which is Step Change, who operate exactly what CAP does. CAP does it all face-to-face. Step Change do the same service, but over the telephone. But what CAP can do is it can also bring with it the emotional support that often you need, because you've gone down this spiral of fear, sleepless nights, and all of these other things. And there was a whole community out there who is saying, they're not going to come and beat you over the head with the Bible. No, don't do that.
No, they don't. They really don't.
God calls us to do. And we have the expertise and the skills to do it. If you wanted a new bed, you go to a bed shop. If you wanted, a new car, if you wanted your car repaired, you go to a car repairer, because they know how to do it. If you want your finances fixing, come and talk to a financial specialist debt help company. Not company, charity. Yeah, there are companies out there, they charge. Look for a debt help charity, CAP being one of them. Yeah.
Colin, it's been so good having you on again. We look forward to seeing you when we come up on tour in Scotland.
Yeah.
And you've been such a help.
Over the bed already, it's all along with Lou Fellingham's.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to it, mate. And God bless you, and keep well this week.
I will. And, I'll stay upright and breathing, hopefully, yes. Definitely.
I want you to be breathing and in your right mind. Clothed and in your right mind, as the Bible talks about. Okay, mate. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Be good.
Thank you.
Be good.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And can I just look out to you and say that again? Let's have some honesty. It hurts sometimes, and it's pride comes before the fall. Don't be proud. Just do what you've got to do. And that would lead me to say also, if you've got things that we can help you with, as some of you we've helped this week, and YGAF has helped, it's there for you. Those who've got, give to YGAF and other charities to help those who haven't. And that's what this community has existed to do for 2 years, and it will continue, I hope, to exist. Just to say, on YouTube, we got 1,200 views on YouTube. It was almost a double of what we've experienced before. And so people are watching, and they're watching this community, and let's show them what this community can do and be for each other. Sue and I can't look after everybody. We can't. But you look after each other, which is a fantastic thing. I want to sing a song, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. This is a...
Oh, really?
Really? Oh, you don't...
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just mentally thinking about trying to fit everything in, but that's fine.
Okay, obviously
that's
not
fine.
then. Well, let's do I Stand Amazed then.
Yes,
because Sue clearly doesn't want me to do that one. Every time I come to do this one, you go, no, we won't do it this time. We won't do it this time. I have done 2 years when I've not done it. Not done it once. Right, I'm going to do this because... Thank
you, Colin. And can I just say that was so helpful.
It was.
Please, last week, Sue Storm was fantastic in talking about dementia. Absolutely marvellous. And actually talking about honesty. And that is a theme, isn't it? It's carrying on. And it's hard. Yes, I know it's hard to talk about the fact that we are struggling financially, or please help us, or whatever. But it's so important. And, there is, as Colin said, there is no judgment. There is no shame. Please don't leave it. And please just ask for help. And just do it, please.
I stand amazed.
This is for lovely Janet Buffy. It's your birthday today, Janet. And happy birthday. This is the one that you wanted. Happy birthday, Janet.
wonderful arrangement by myself and Mark on the lockdown set. No, the Hymns Project 2. Was it 1? I think it's 1. Yeah, it's 1. I stand amazed in the presence of Jesus the Nazarene, and wonder how he could love me, a sinner condemned unclean. How wonderful, how marvelous, and my song shall ever be. How marvelous, how wonderful is my Savior's love for me. For me, it was in the garden. He prayed, not my will, but thine. He had no tears for his own griefs, sweat drops of blood for mine. How marvelous, how wonderful, and my song shall ever be. How marvelous, how wonderful is my Savior's love for me. He took my sins and my sorrows, he made them his very own. He bore the burden to Calvary and suffered and died alone. Sing, how marvelous, how wonderful, and my song shall ever be. How marvelous, how wonderful is my Savior's love for me. When with the ransomed in glory, his face I at last shall see, 'twill be my joy through the ages to sing of his love, to sing of his love, to sing of his love for me, singing how marvelous, how wonderful, and my song shall ever be. How marvelous, how wonderful is my Savior's love for me.
Future Leaves. That one is for you too. I know you're in hospital again and it's your favourite hymn, so that one's for you.
This one, another Throwback Sunday. This is my son singing Daniel, who's the middle child. Way back before his voice had broken, and now he's 30 years old. And here's a song called Child, and this is for David Hicks, for all the children in Ukraine. 100 we see have been killed, and this is a song for them tonight. There's a child with tears in her eyes, staring down the war-torn street. The burned-out tanks and empty shells lie all around her feet. Friends and family, home all gone, her world is torn apart. She pays for someone else's politics, with the scars across her heart. See this child with tears in her
Angels
eyes.
cry in heaven tonight for the children of the world. The kingdom's gates are open wide for every boy and girl.
They're searching for a savior, but who will show the way, so the children of tomorrow can find the love they need. There's a child with pain on his face, looking out across the hill. The withered trees and hard-baked ground, silent, lifeless still. His last meal long forgotten, and his next may never come. Someone stole away his future before his life's begun. See this child with pain on his face.
Angels cry in heaven tonight for the children of the world.
The kingdom's gates are open wide for every boy and girl. They're searching for a savior, but who will show the way, so the children of tomorrow can find the love they need. Oh, angels cry in heaven tonight for the children of the world. The kingdom's gates are open wide for every boy and girl. They're searching for a savior, but who will show the way, so the children of tomorrow, how they need a star to follow, so the children of tomorrow can find the love they need.
Today.
And that was Nick, who you saw last week, at 28, and that was him. He was about 8, wasn't he? Yeah, 20 years ago. And we think of them and we pray for them tonight. If you're the praying sort, then please pray for them. If you think about them, just think about them. And if you can do anything to help, as always in this community, you do what you can to help. And that was by our lovely Paul Field.
It was a beautiful song. Do you want to do another one?
I think
Paul
one more,
Field?
God of the Moon, and then
Yeah.
we're going to do it. Okay. I hope you got that one
Very
too.
appropriate song. Very appropriate song. As is this.
And this is for Rob, who's been lying on his bed of sickness His ankle,
Foot elevated.
foot elevated. We're
Longing
watching
for a
snooker.
shower.
And he asked for Les Mis, and he said no. How about one of his other favourite songs, God of the Moon and Stars? This is for everyone. God of the moon and stars, God of the near and far, God of the fragile hearts we are, I come to you. God of our history, God of the future that will be, what will you make of me? I come to you. God of the meek and mild, God of the reckless and the wild, God of the unreconciled, I come to you. God of our life and death, God of our secrets unconfessed, God of our every living breath, we come to you. God of the rich and poor, God of the princess and the whore, God of the ever open door, we come to you. God of the unborn child, God of the pure and undefiled, God of the pimp and pedophile, we come to you. God of the war and peace, God of the junkie and the priest, God of the greatest and the least, I come to you. God of the refugee, God of the prisoner and the free, God of our doubt and certainty, I come to you. God of our joy and grief, God of the loyal and the thief, God of our faith and unbelief, I come to you. God of the wounds we bear, God of the deepest dreams we share, God of our unspoken prayer, we come to you. God of a world that's lost, God of a lonely, lonely cross, God who has come to us, come to you. Oh, that's 3 Paul Field songs in a row.
Wow, that was powerful stuff, I have to say. Beautiful. Just his words just say it, don't they, really?
They do. Sue, over to you.
So let's just tidy up with a few notices before we head off to bed. So we are back on the road next weekend. I know that many of you are joining us in Lyndhurst on the 7th, which is fantastic. So it's going to be great to see you. And if you do come to a show, please come and say hello and say, my name is so-and-so, because I won't recognise you, but it will be so nice to meet you and so lovely to talk to you. But just make sure you tell me who you are. So yes, that's next Saturday. And then we have another week off. And then we are off up to Scotland. Arran on the 21st, Perth on the 27th, and Cowdenbeath on the 28th. And those of you who are living in Scotland and want to actually have a little soiree with us, then you need to speak to Fiona and Colin.
Or if you don't want to have a soiree with us, which is perfectly acceptable.
Yes,
I mean, it can be Kentucky Fried Chicken over a bench in Waitrose car park. But I don't care what you do.
But the food will be good, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be chicken and beans.
Even if it's not meeting with us.
Chicken and beans, Fiona.
So those are our dates in the next month. As you can see, we've got some lovely little animations from Rachel for our YouTube and website and then Facebook.
Subscribe.
So let's have a look at the YouTube one then. You go on to JV, which is the Jonathan Veira YouTube channel, and you click on the little thumb, and then you subscribe, you press that bit, and then you can press the notification bell, and as soon as we do a lovely little video like we did yesterday, you will be told about it straight away. And so that's fantastic. That's the JV YouTube thing.
How many have we got so far? 728?
700 something. And then Facebook, of course, you know, it's the yellow hat one is the one for all the sort of Facebook stuff, and there is the community. If you're not part of our Facebook community, then please do come along. You just need to actually join up and just sort of answer the questions. So if you've got friends who want to join it, then just make sure that they answer the questions. If you answer the questions, which are very simple, they're not difficult.
Will you
questions.
behave well and
They're
don't swear on the
They're
community?
not about the meaning to life or anything like that. It's just about why, you know, how you've heard of Jonathan and so on. But the Facebook community is lovely. It's a safe place. It's a place full of encouragement and hope and caring people who will answer your questions and who will just spend a bit of time talking to you. So just join on the Facebook community group, the JV community.
If you fancy any CDs, then please go on the JV site.
It's the JV site, jonathanveira.com, and we've got the shop there, which will give you all the information there. And also you can listen to the tracks if you want to just check something out. And if you just want to ask a question, if you want to tell me something, if you want to ask a question about hosting a Jonathan Veira concert, then just write to sue@jonathanveira.com and I will be happy to answer your questions. That's what I can do at the moment. Still not able to sing, so I'm afraid this next song is going to be Jonathan on his own again. But it's been lovely to see you all tonight. Thank you for coming, and thank you so much for being part of this wonderful community. We keep telling everyone about you, but you are a lovely bunch, and we are very grateful to have you here in our Steinway Room.
I'd like to shout out to a few people. Jerry, who's had his special machine after his operation. He turned it on this week, and we wish you the best, Jerry. We hope it works and you get to sleep. and I hope I do get to sleep because my neuropathy in my feet is
Yes.
killing me right now.
What you don't know is the poor old Jonathan's had a stabbing pain of neuropathy in his foot all day, but he's been working hard to just concentrate on singing for you tonight, and it's been wonderful. Bless you, Michelle. We are very aware that, Michelle, you are on that hard, difficult journey of sitting with your mother as she leaves you. So we just pray and ask God to be with you tonight and bless you and give you peace and give her peace.
And also for Lynn Bird.
Yes, sitting in the reclining chair.
And Jim, so many of you out there. For Helen Poole, who put up a notice yesterday or today, and think of her. So many of you, and we sing this song for you tonight. Go peaceful in gentleness through the violence of these days. Give freely, show tenderness in all your ways. Through darkness, in troubled times, let holiness be your aim. Seek wisdom, let faithfulness burn like a flame. God speed you, God lead you, and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known by love. Be righteous, speak truthfully in a world of greed and lies. Show kindness, see everyone through heaven's eyes. God hold you, enfold you, and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known by love. And the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you, and give you his peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you, and give you his peace, and give you his peace. Before I sing the last little bit, I'm just going to say, next week we're on again. We're on our own. It's just going to be Sue running the show, and Rachel and Claire busy next week, and so it's going to be us, but we have a special guest in. His name is Jonathan Hennessy Brown, and he's a great cellist, not viola player.
I was going to say, poor man. He's now
A great
very young.
cellist, and he's going to be joining us when talking about his story of addiction and coping with that through as a musician, a working musician all over the place. And he's going to play a little bit of music for us as well. But do join us next week, and it goes like this. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. And the Lord bless you and keep you, and give you his peace, and give you His peace. With apologies for 3 minutes and 13 seconds over the time. God bless you. Sleep well, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.